Hey guys, and welcome to this video. I'm sorry it's been so long. We seem to start every video with an apology now, but I'm really not had a great time recently, and Ellie started a new job, so she's kind of been coming home and falling into bed, which is fair enough because it's a fucking awesome job.
Have to is my brain.
Yeah. So sorry we haven't been there, but sadly life's got in the way. Sadly for me, not for Ellie. But anyway, yes, so get on with it. This is the Time of Day book tag. This is created by Christoria 2027, which if you don't know by now, are both some of our best friends. And we've been meaning to do a response to their tag that they tagged us in forever. And we finally got round to it. So yeah, we're just going to dive into it. Thanks for tagging us, guys. And I hope our response is alright. So first one is Time to Wake Up, a book that opened your eyes to a genre that you didn't previously read. I'm sorry if I'm looking down during these, I'm reading it off my phone. So do you want to go first?
Yep, so mine was The Haunted Vagina. I want to make sure it is by Carlton Mellick before I say it is. I've never read Bizarro before, and I really, really enjoy it, though I'm quite fussy about it now. And it's got to be good, proper Bizarro, not just weird.
Yeah, basically I picked that up because it sounded funny. I enjoyed it, and Ellie kept looking at it and eventually read it.
Yeah, so basically a bloke crawls into his girlfriend's vagina, and there's a whole world in there. And we go on from there. Really? Yeah. It's a good book, I enjoy it.
And for me, I have lost the dust jacket on it.
Or I have probably.
But it is Hollywood Monster, the biography of Robert Englund, the actor who played Freddy Krueger most famously. And we are a big fan of him as a person as well as an actor.
We'll watch any film from him.
Yeah, and I just thought this would definitely be a fun read with lots of nods to people we know in the horror celebrities and stuff. And it is. It's funny, it's insightful, it's brilliant, and it's the first proper autobiography I ever read. Yeah. So it opened my eyes up because I never thought I did like people enough to be interested in their autobiographies, and now we own quite a few. So yeah. No Time for Breakfast, a book that has been sitting on your shelf for ages. For me, this is a book that Ellie has been badgering me to finish. I always seem to get...
I have read it twice, and the time mark has not read it.
I always seem to get about...
the same way in every time.
Just before halfway, and then for some reason I stop, and I don't know why, because I love the author. It's Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill.
And we've had this book since we first moved out, so probably about 7 years now? Yeah,
it's been a silly amount of time, and I love Horns, I love 20th Century Ghosts, I love Lock and Key, and I don't know why I haven't got around to reading it, but yeah, I need to, and it's one that's been sitting, Ellie's been wanting me to read
and it's
forever.
a really nice hardback one.
Yeah, really nice cover. Yeah, so that's mine.
So mine is Mirror Mirror by Gregory Maguire. I've read most of the rest of them. I bought them all in bulk. We went to see Wicked.
Well, that's standalone, isn't it?
Yeah, we went to go and see Wicked, and we loved it. So I bought Wicked, and then I bought Son of a Witch, and all the other ones to go with
the Wicked years.
Yeah, all the ones to go with the storylines. And then I bought this one, in Waterstones. As you can see, it was half price, and I just haven't read it.
Yeah, so obviously Gregory Maguire did the Wicked books, which are like an adult retelling of the Wizard of Oz mythology.
They're not even a retelling. They're like a different take.
Yeah.
Like in Wicked, spoiler alert, the Wicked Witch of the West is good.
And she's not good. It's just as an explanation for why she's bad. Yeah. And then this one, Mirror Mirror, is Snow White or Sleeping Beauty.
Snow White. Yeah, Snow White.
Snow White, and then he's done Cinderella with the Ugly Stepsister,
which I think I've read.
Yeah, which you've got as well as Orange, I think.
Yeah, I've got, because they're all different colours. They're all
gorgeous covers.
I'm one of those people with OCD. They have to match spine wise, and these all do. So that's good for me.
Next we have Time to Travel to Work, a book you read whilst travelling.
We've never really travelled particularly far, to read. I always drive, so I never read when I'm travelling. So we kind of picked books that we read while we were on honeymoon, because that was travelling.
Well, no, yours was on honeymoon, mine wasn't.
So mine's Ron Perlman, Easy Street. It's Ron Perlman's autobiography. It's amazing. We love Ron Perlman anyway, and
he's another. The actors we seem to connect to are ones that we like just as much as people as actors. And Ron Perlman's one of those people that you see a lot of stuff.
And of course, we're massive fans of Guillermo del Toro, so they're best friends.
Yeah, it's kind of hand in hand.
And it's an amazing book, and you'll find out lots about him that you never knew. Because he's not really in the public eye. He's in the public eye, but you don't hear all the news stories or gossip about him.
Yeah, if he's on a promotional run for a movie, he talks about the movie. And for me is Mr. Begone by Clive Barker. I read this while we were up visiting Chris and Victoria for the first time, and yeah, I really loved it. It's a really good book, and I recommend anyone who wants to start with Clive Barker, I think this is a good place to start if you want to get a glimpse of his not strictly horrible horror stuff, because it's a little bit tamer, but it's still really, really good. Okay, the next one is You've Had a Hard Time at Work, a book you struggled to get through. Ellie's going to start on this one.
Mine's really easy. It was Kelly Link, Pretty Monsters. It's the first book I can say I've probably ever struggled with. I don't really struggle with books. I can read anything. Some of the stories were, like I said in my review when I did it, some of the stories are amazing and they're really, really good and really imaginative, and some of them I just don't get. I feel like, I've said before, I feel like I missed something. I don't know if it's whether I've missed it or whether it's just not there. And they tend to be at the beginning of the book. So it took me about 2 months to read that book, and usually it only take me 2 or 3 days. And I really, really, really struggled. But I'm going to give Kelly Link's actual books another go, because I liked...
You really loved the stuff you loved.
The stuff I loved, I really loved. So I'm going to give her another go and see if we can get more out of full-length stories.
And for me, it is Guy Adams' The World House. I'm pretty sure this is one Chris and Victoria gave me.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, it's my first book from Angry Robot Books, which is a book publisher that I know Chris is a big fan of. So I was excited to read it, and I've got to say, there's a lot going on in this book. I liked it enough to look into reading the sequel if I can pick it up cheap, but I struggle to recommend it because I find it very confusing. There's a lot of viewpoint. By about halfway through the book, there's about 15 characters, and only 2 of them have kind of been hinted at being the main characters, and I find it... And, like, one of my favourite things in books is when a storyline follows characters, like 2 characters, and it changes viewpoints each chapter. So you're, like, following 2 threads of story that eventually will meet up. In this, he does that, but he doesn't do it per chapter. He does it per paragraph. So there's chapters where...
Sounds confusing.
Yeah, there's a paragraph break, and then it's in another character, and you don't realise till halfway through the paragraph that it's the other character, and there's a lot of thinking involved with it, and that may sound like I'm thick, which I probably am, but yeah, I enjoyed it, but I think you could have made 2 books out of this one book. I think there was too much going on in it. But yeah, Lunchtime, a quick and easy read. For me, I have picked China Miéville's Unlondon, which is meant to be one of his, or his only, I think, kids' book. Which I don't consider it a kids' book. It was a hell of a lot of fun. There's about 100 chapters in it. Part 8, fight, no, that'll be fine. Yeah, there's 101 chapters in it, I think. They're all maybe 2-3 pages long, and the story keeps a really nice pace going in it, and I just devoured this book, even though it is like 500 pages. It's kind of, because the chapters are so small, you get the same kind of effect as when you read things on a Kindle with a percentage. You want to get to the next bit. And I don't know about other people, but when I'm reading in bed at night, and I get to that point where my eyes are starting to get tired and I'm kind of falling asleep, if I always check to see how many pages are in the next chapter.
See if you can carry on.
And with this, it just keeps me, and I end up staying up and reading it. So yeah, I love that. Unlondon by China Miéville. I highly recommend it. Go and find it. Not a lot of people talk about it.
Mine's The Intruders by E. Richardson, which I read last month. It's a classic ghost story, I guess. You've read it as well, haven't you?
Yeah, there will be we're going to do a dual review for it.
I just really love it, and it's really quick, and I really enjoyed it, and it held my attention.
Yeah, I finished it last night, and I really enjoyed it.
Even though it's quite cheesy and...
It's very cliched.
Very cliched,
but it knows it is. Yeah. Time for your performance review. A book you bought because of a review you read or watched. For me, it is Horror Store, which is going to be in my May to be read. This is one that Chris hasn't shut up about since he read it, in the best possible way. And from the looks of it, I know why, and I think I'm going to absolutely love this, and I can't wait to discuss it with him. So keep a lookout for our upcoming book clubs, because we'll probably talk about it on this. And thanks for the recommendation, Chris. Everything else I've read that you've been involved in, I've loved. So yeah, Horror Store by Grady Hendrix.
Mine's Rachel Kane, The Glass House, which is part of the Morganville Vampire series. It was 3 for £5 in the works, and I know that Victoria from Christoria 2027 had really, really enjoyed it, and I used to read a lot of books like this back before True Blood was popular. So I thought I'd give it a go, and I really, really enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to pick up the rest if I can in the 3 for $5 offer. I thought it was a good deal.
Time to Travel Home, a book that follows a character on some kind of journey.
I picked Neil Gaiman's Anansi Boys. I think I said that right.
Yeah.
It follows Fat Charlie, who's having a bit of a hard time and discovers... I've read it a long time ago. Yeah, he finds out that his dad is Anansi the Spider God, and he has a brother called Spider, and it's just nuts. Proper Neil Gaiman nuts. They follow the story about meeting his dad and meeting his brother, and it's just a really, really good book. Really good book. Proper Neil Gaiman read.
And for me, I picked Sergei Lukyanenko's The Night Watch. This is the book series that the movie Night Watch and Day Watch were based on, and there is now 5 books, I think, in the series. Night Watch, Day Watch, Twilight Watch, Last Watch, and The New Watch. And yeah, this is signed by him. Ellie got me this as a Christmas present, and it's signed by him because I'm never going to meet the guy. So
is this one that's got really cool bats on the cover?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're on the plastic bit, aren't they?
Yeah. And these books, you follow Anton. I love these books mainly for the setting, which is basically Russia. And I love the feel of Russia or Scandinavia or those kind of places in movies. We love things like the Millennium Trilogy, Girl with Dragon Tattoo, Let the Right One In, Dead Snow.
The book, not the film. Yeah. The sort of Eastern
Dead
Bloc
Snow,
countries.
yeah, Dyatlov incident. Those kind of things, and
because the environments are pretty harsh.
It's always kind of melancholy, and I think the characters in it have to be written really well to be interesting.
Yeah.
And in this, you meet Anton, and he's kind of thrust into a fantasy world within modern day Russia, and I think it's awesome. I love it, and I think more people should read it.
And then you throw in vampires and witches and bats.
Yeah, I don't like mentioning them too much because they're
not really part of the story, are they?
They're cliche. A lot of people do things about vampires and wizards and stuff, but this does it really well, and it's not like anything else I've read. Dinner Time and Conversation, a book you don't hear people talk about much, but you loved. For me, I picked John Connolly, The Gates,
Amazing.
which we read together, and absolutely loved it. A lot of fun. It's a kid's book. The writing is obviously for like teenagers, or very young teenagers.
It doesn't matter though, it's so
but
awesome.
It's a hell of a lot of fun, and I guarantee.
It's hysterical.
Yeah, I would say pick this up, if only for you to go through and read the chapters about Nerd, because Nerd.
Oh no, it's better than that. I won't spoil it. There's a scene where something is in his room which shouldn't be.
That's Nerd.
It's not Nerd. It's her, isn't it?
Oh right, yeah, okay, I know.
So
what you
him
mean.
and the dog
Yeah.
drag this black shadow and flush it down the toilet.
Yeah, it doesn't ruin the plot. There's a demon and it's trying to scare the boy by hiding under his bed, but it's the first time it's ever scared anyone, so he doesn't actually know what to do. So it's like, I have really big ears, and the kid's like, you're not a very good demon, are you?
Yeah, they end up being more friends then.
Yeah.
It's a really good book. Mine's Beth Webb, Fleabag and the Ring of Fire. I've mentioned it before. You can see how battered and loved this book is. I've probably had it over 15 years now. It's a series. It's about a talking cat, and as you can see from our range of creatures, I quite like cats. No, don't do that. And him and a girl he makes friends with go on the quest for the Queen's ring, and the girl can magic fire.
And you've never heard anyone mention it?
Never. I've never heard it mentioned. I seem to be the only one. I'm sure I'm not, and I've not looked very hard. I should have a look on the internet. I've never seen anyone mention it.
Is time to zone out in front of the TV. Your favourite book that has been turned into a movie or TV show. We both picked the same for this, which is Joe Hill's Horns. This is a book we both absolutely adore, and the movie with Daniel Radcliffe very recently came out, and although it doesn't trump the book, I don't think it could. It was a very, very,
really
very good movie.
I wasn't expecting any of that.
And as much as we have liked Daniel Radcliffe and the stuff he's done prior to, post Harry Potter.
So we like Woman in Black.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
We couldn't see him as the main character, Ig.
But he's really good.
He actually did an alright job at it. He did really well, and it's I think the movie's adult enough.
As soon as they started releasing pictures of him, we knew he'd be alright.
Yeah. And we really enjoyed the movie, and it's definitely something we'll watch again, and I definitely think it's probably one of the books I own that I will be reading again.
It's awesome, isn't it?
So yeah, and the cover on this is outstanding. I mean, it's the same style as Heart-Shaped Box. Nothing on the front, but yeah. So you've got lots of iconography on it and stuff, which is awesome. You can see. Yeah. Next we have the book that is currently on your nightstand. So obviously on our nightstand, neither of us have started either of these. They are books that are going to be in our to be read for this month. So yeah.
Mine's Cherry Priest Dreadnought. It was in my TV read for April, but I've been really, really, really busy, and like Mark said, I've just been going to bed when I get home. So I'm only gonna so this is on my bed on my night.
You probably could have read it, but you wouldn't remember it.
No.
And you want to enjoy it.
And I really want to enjoy it, so I'm probably going to start it tonight.
And mine is Lev Grossman's The Magicians, which is one again I was meant to read this month, and I just couldn't. I think I read the first chapter, and other things got in the way, and I ended up reading other stuff. Bear in mind, this month was NaNoWriMo for me, so reading was really low on my schedule.
Yeah.
And by the time I went to bed, I actually was quite tired as well. So yeah, that's The Magicians by Lev Grossman. And finally, we have Nighttime, a book you couldn't put down, so you stayed up way too late reading.
Mine is When She Woke by Hilary Jordan. I have taken the dust jacket off. I usually do when I'm reading them. I read this in, I'd say 24 hours. I read it one afternoon, most of that night, and then got up first thing the following morning to read it.
Devoured it in a bath and then in bed.
Yeah. Chris Doria 2027 got it for me. It's amazing. It covers lots of sensitive topics, so if you're quite sensitive around abortion or religion or that sort of stuff, probably not for you, but it's amazing. It's really, really, really good.
And mine is Pat Kelleher's The Black Hand Gang from the No Man's World series. This, I devoured this book. I wasn't expected to like it. It was another present from Chris Doria 2027, and I am so thankful they got it for me because I'd never heard of it. Isn't the usual thing I'd read because it's war themed, but I just loved it. It's basically a sci-fi war kind of thing. I'm not going to give much away, but just go and check it out. It's awesome, and I know people will enjoy this book. I highly recommend this. So yeah, that was the time of day tag. Sorry it's taken us long sorry it's taken us so long to do this, guys. We love the tag. We love the idea of it. A lot of the tags that are floating about are quite ambiguous. Mm-hmm. And we like that this one's so detailed and you actually have to think about it, which is probably why it took us so long to sort out. Because we had to source all the books. But yeah, so please, we are going to tag people.
I'd like to tag one book, one review, Danny Darling, and A Common Touch of Fantasy, and anyone else who fancies doing it. It's a pretty cool tag.
Hopefully, if you could go and do it, that would be awesome. Please make sure that you link to Chris Doria 2027's video because they're the originators. It's their tag. Thank you for tagging us. Thank you for watching.
And we shall see you next time.
Yes. Cheers, guys. Bye.